Okay, we are live. Give me just 1 second. Realize I'm going to fix this quickly. There we go. That looks slightly nicer. Sorry about the very crummy lighting in here. For some reason, my light has gone AWOL. So you get the poorly lit version of Cameron. However, Murad, welcome. Let me know how you're doing. We are here. I just took a awesome trip to the old country. And I want to come back. Normally, I stream Mondays through Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern and 1 a.m. Eastern. However, this last week, because of my travels, I wasn't able to do so. So I figured, why not come on Sunday, 6 p.m., spend a little bit of time talking to people, chatting with them, and also sharing with them some pictures from my travels. You may have followed them or found them. If you follow me on social media, however, let me just see if I can share this tab quickly. However, I figured, why not share them here for a few moments. Let me know if you guys can see that well, if you can hear me, all that good jazz. I hope everybody is doing well. I am. And please, Murad, hit like and subscribe. I would truly appreciate it. And I hope that you're doing well. By the way, to everybody who took part in our member exclusive live streams on the 21st, especially those of you who might have won some items. Hello, Core. You'll be getting those sent out to you shortly, so don't worry. I'll send those to you this month. How are you doing, Core? And how are you doing, Dad? Sorry I missed your call, Dad. I was sleeping at the time, but my trip went very well. And yeah, if you want to send me your info for the citizenship, I will definitely. I'm still working on the application, but I see you're going to your doctors tomorrow. Good for you. Keep up all that good work. And, thank you for joining. I'm just sharing one of the pictures from social media. This is Masonic Commedia, which is a gift I received from worship brother Andy Albright, who was one of the finalists for the AVDA Awards. Been on the stream, been on the channel before. Great dude. He very kindly gave me a copy of this work while we were in Scotland. He even inscribed it for me. To Brother Cameron, best wishes. May God bless you fraternally, Brother Andy Albright. No worries, Murad. I appreciate you being here even for a few moments. And before you get some rest, I hope you'll hit like and I hope you'll hit subscribe. Perfect. Yeah, there's no rush. But everybody was great. It was a blast to see everybody in the old country. They were all wonderful. Thank you to my cousins for letting me stay with them. Thank you for some delicious meals. I tried the haggis, so there you go. And thank you to Worshipful Andy Albright for this beautiful book. Also, for these beautiful pins. Actually, I found out, so most Worshipful Brother Thomas E. Watson, he was a Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of South Carolina. He actually passed away a couple of months into his term, I discovered. Very sad. It's always sad to lose anybody, but especially someone relatively young, to my understanding, or certainly a Grand Master, so new into his term. So I was very honored to receive these pins. There is Freemasonry in China, Murad, primarily in Hong Kong and Macau. I understand it may be not allowed in mainland China. However, that's not to say that there might not be Freemasons in China, but they're not able to attend meetings, things like that. But it does exist, and it's quite actually popular in Hong Kong. It's also quite popular in Macau. So there you go. And I will be back on, by the way, tomorrow at 1 p.m. for my normal time. Got a hole in my chin. Can't drink coffee properly. So I figured I would share some images from my travels. But let's give it a few minutes. Let's wait to see who joins. Don't forget, I will be back on tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern and then 1 a.m. as well. I did. That's all right though. It's fun. I mean, I think I'm a pretty decent traveler. I've grown to be a pretty good traveler. Something I'm proud of is, I know how to navigate airports well and security, and I might have a trip coming up very soon. I'm still just working on a couple of details, somewhat of a last minute trip, but I will let you guys know once I know what the trip will be. Well, it is the evening here. It is 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern. Whenever I talk about times, just for the record, I'm talking about Eastern Standard Time. So, or at least normally when I'm talking about times. And in this case, like I said, Eastern Standard Time. So, and by the way, Murad, I do have super chat. So if you want to help me out, you can do a 99-cent super chat. That would be incredibly helpful for the channel and would be very much appreciated. Thank you so much, as always, everybody who's joining. And yeah, I just wanted to show off some of the stuff I received. Again, we got my different pins here. Unity, Grand Master, Grand Lodge of AF and AM. And again, this wonderful book, Masonic Commedia, from Worship Brother Andy Albright, as well as it's inscribed to Brother Cameron, best wishes, may God bless you, which I very much appreciated. Also, this is Halt Whistle Masonic Hall. Yes, Canada EST. Well, you're not EST, you're Central Time, Dad. This is Halt Whistle Masonic Hall. Very important part of my Masonic journey, as my grandfather was the worshipful master there in 1974. I actually took a picture of his name. That's him there. I am where my should be able to see that. A. Shields, A. Adamson, T.B. Cowing. So that's him there in 1974. A. Adamson. My grandfather, he was the worshipful master of his lodge at the same time my mom's father was the worshipful master of his lodge, which I think is kind of a really cool coincidence. They didn't know each other, obviously, for many years, till a few years later, but an interesting little note. Goodbye, Murad, and thank you for joining. This is the inside of the lodge room. It's both acts as a lodge room and a hall. So basically, I have not seen Eyes Wide Shut, though I hear I've seen clips of it. Some people say it's Masonic in that, like, a lot of conspiracy theorists think that that's what we do, whatever it is they do in Eyes Wide Shut. They would be sorely disappointed if they found out the truth. And this last picture here is Halt Whistle Masonic Hall. So there you go. Next up. So I thought this was really, really cool. And I put this as alt text as well. So people can, if you have trouble reading the writing because it's very old, you can, and like Warren, you can check it out here. This was at St. Cuthbert's Graveyard in Edinburgh. Hello, Beyond Ether. Ah, so you got a job as a sailor, and your dad became worshipful master. There you go. It's funny. Your sister's dad said that because you were the only boy, you were spoiled rotten as a kid. I don't know if you would agree with her, but that's what your sister says. So you can take that for whatever it's worth. So this says Again, this was at St. Cuthbert's, which is a historic graveyard cemetery in Edinburgh, Scotland, erected by the Lodge of Journeyman Masons, Edinburgh number 8, in memory of John Crooks, Right Worshipful Master, 1868 and 1869. Died 24th of May, 1671, aged 47 years. And then down here it says remains are interred 28 feet north of this stone. So again, the traditional date of Freemasonry is 1717. That was kind of the start date of the Premier Grand Lodge of England. However, Freemasonry does predate that in Scotland. You see it here with Right Worshipful Master John Crooks of the Lodge of Journeyman Masons. Whenever I'm in graveyards or cemeteries, I always try to take a few moments to look around, see what I can see if I can see any brethren. In newer cemeteries, you'll see a square and compasses on the stone. In older graveyards, it's just a matter of reading the inscriptions. I was very lucky to find this. This is the Freemasons Hall out of Edinburgh, Scotland. I couldn't get a good shot of the facade because unfortunately there was road work happening. So if I went to the other side of the street to try to get a decent shot of the facade, most of it was blocked. So I had to kind of take it from this awkward angle. But it's still an absolutely beautiful building on the outside and the inside. This is the room where the AVDA, Arcana Veritas Awards, took place. You can see it here, Arcana Veritas Distinction Awards. Gentleman by the name of, these are 3 of the people who wrote works that were nominated. You can see Brother Andy Albright there signing. This is just some of the pictures. This is the museum in Freemasons Hall. This is an organ that they have in Freemasons Hall. To the glory of God and the memory of those brethren who have given their lives or who served. So this is all at Freemasons Hall. Haggis, neeps, and tatties when in Rome or when in Scotland was pretty good. Very filling meal, I'll say that. I can understand why a group of people who had to live on the plains of any country and deal with wind and snow and cold weather would appreciate a hearty meal like haggis, neeps, and tatties. From one of the best Masonic podcasts in 2025, that is from the podcast Craftcast, which you can find through United Grand Lodge of England. This is one of the hosts, and he is a very cool dude and an amazing host, and it's a great podcast. So check out Craftcast. United Grand Lodge of England, UG. Can anybody else hear me? Hold on just one sec. It's coming through mine, Douglas. I think it might be your computer. If anybody else can't hear me, let me know. But I think it's coming through. At least it's coming through for me. I'm going to keep talking for a couple more. This was a cappuccino at the Goose and Gridiron. Goose and Gridiron, Dad's got me, so it's fine. Goose and Gridiron Goose and Gridiron originally was the pub over which the Premier Grand Lodge of England was formed. So it's a famous place in Freemason lore, Masonic history. It no longer is present. However, the United Grand Lodge of England started a cafe. I forget the year, and they called it the Goose and Gridiron in honor of UGLE's roots. And this is their symbol on the cappuccino. It was great. I love coffee. If anybody knows me, knows I love coffee. So I really loved having the cappuccino. I really loved visiting a Goose and Gridiron and visiting Freemasons Hall in London. This is just a cool picture of me getting ready to board the plane to go to London. I loved having Mississauga in the background there. I thought it was beautiful. Christmas in an airport. It's always something I really enjoy. And those are smile cookies from Tim Hortons. All right, give me 1 sec, Dad. I'm just going to get you the name of the winner and what you won for. The name of the book. Or the name of the thing you wrote. Wow. Okay, I'm back. So it was Matthew Arion Siami. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And he wrote From Stone to Temple, the Psychological Transformation of Identity in Freemasonry. That's 100% something I want to check out. That's on my list of things I plan to read and maybe even do a podcast about. Welcome, Douglas. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. By the way, I also want to mention, I do have 2 other Instagram accounts, which I hope you guys will follow. I'm going to show them to you so you know where to find them. Let me just clear all these so it's easier to search. So the first one is Masonic Building Interiors 1. And this is all Masonic building interiors, specifically lodge rooms. So this is the Grand Lodge. So this is Halt Whistle. Halt Whistle Masonic Hall in Halt Whistle, Northumberland. It's just the image of the lodge room facing from the west towards the east. And then this is the Grand Lodge of Scotland. This is Freemasons Hall in Edinburgh, Scotland. This is a beautiful organ I showed before. I love this skylight up here. I thought it was gorgeous. And then we keep going. Romeo, Michigan, the Philippines, Rio de Janeiro again, Grand Lodge, Manitoba, 150th, Brampton, etc., etc. So I hope you guys will follow me at Masonic Building Interiors 1, where it gives me a chance to show off the inside of our buildings. And I also have Masonic Buildings 1, which is the exterior, the facades of all the buildings. So this, again, for my most recent trip, this is Halt Whistle Masonic Hall, Halt Whistle, Northumberland, Freemasons Hall, Edinburgh, Scotland, Freemasons Hall, London, Western Masonic Temple in Western Toronto, Romeo, Michigan, Grand Lodge of Quebec, Winnipeg, Masonic Pathways in Alma, Michigan. So again, this just is another chance to show off our beautiful Masonic facades, which I think need to get a little bit more love. So there you go. And once again, I hope everybody is doing well. Thank you all for being here. Please take a moment. If you've not done so yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let me know how you guys are doing. Normally, I do these Mondays through Fridays, 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. However, because of my travels, I did not do any live streams this week. So now I'm back live streaming once again, just to say hello, to share these images. I hope that you guys have followed me on my social media accounts. Checked out the pictures. I'll show them again tomorrow just to keep showing them off. But yeah, I hope that everybody's doing well. So Douglas, everybody watching this, let me know if your thoughts are on Freemasonry. Positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear them. And we'll give it a bit of time. We'll see who joins. Don't have any plans for this. I'm probably going to go on for a crazy long time. This is mostly just to say hello. I'm back, and I look forward to being back at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow with my normal stream. In the meantime, though, please consider doing a super chat, sharing, liking, subbing, all that good jazz. That helps out big time. And please let me know if you have any thoughts, again, on Freemasonry. Let me make sure I'm getting all the live chats coming through. Let me know if you follow me on all my different Instagram accounts. And if you don't, remember, Score and Compass Promotions is the main one. Then I have Masonic Building Interiors and Masonic Buildings. Positive, the rituals are amazing. I hope American viewers, I hope they're having a great Thanksgiving weekend as well. Happy Thanksgiving. I can say this, I am thankful for many things in my life, including my American brethren. Positive, the rituals are amazing. Having knowledge of the occult makes you a better person. I would agree with that. I wouldn't necessarily use the term occult, Douglas Marks. I always tend to kind of avoid that as a term. Not that you're wrong. I just think occult sometimes, unfortunately, comes with a little bit more negative terms with some people, even though ultimately what occult just means is hidden. So, and hidden can mean anything from your bank account to Masonic rituals to, anything else that's maintained a level of privacy. We're just going to hang out, see who else jumps in the chat to say hello. But yeah, no, I agree. And I do think, I think everybody responds to the rituals within Freemasonry differently, right? That's one of the fascinating things about Masonic ritual is how different everybody responds to them. So, by the way, I am going to have another 24-hour live stream that is going to be scheduled for December 21st. We're going to start it at 2 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to go till 2 p.m. Eastern, December 22nd. We'll celebrate some Christmas. So I hope that you guys will tune in for that. We usually do giveaways, polls, questions, things like that. It's a lot of fun. So let's just give it a bit of time. Let's see if anyone else jumps in the chat to say hello. To anybody who took part in my member exclusive live streams on November 21st, if you won one of the poll questions, one of the prizes, you will be receiving your gift in the mail very soon. I'll be mailing them out this month. I may wait because if you are a Patreon, you may be entitled to some additional stuff, but you'll get it before the new year is my goal, is my plan. So. And anybody wants to jump in with some hearts as well, let's wait to see who jumps in. And like I said, I love sharing these images. This is, I think, an absolutely beautiful building, Freemasons Hall in Edinburgh, Scotland. It's got the Ionic or Doric. No, these would be Doric. It's got the Doric columns. It's got the chapters. I wish I could have got a better view of this, but or a better picture of this, I should say. However, unfortunately, there was road construction happening at the time, so I could only get a close-up shot from this kind of awkward angle. Let's go back to my profile. I'm going to share this tombstone or grave marker again, just because I thought it was really cool. Erected by the Lodge of Journeyman Masons, Edinburgh number 8, the memory of John Crooks, Right Worship Master, 1868 and 1869, died 24th of May, 1671, aged 47 years. Thank you, Douglas. And I'm thankful to know you as well. I appreciate that very much. And I'm glad that you enjoy good food and good family. Those are two incredibly important things. Um, and so that is awesome to hear. What's your favorite Thanksgiving meal, Douglas Marks? If you had to pick one, like it's not meal, but food: turkey, stuffing, potatoes, vegetables, sweet potatoes. I'd love to hear it. For me, I mean, I would have to go with favorite. Probably as a good Mason, I should go with green beans, green bean casserole. I will say, growing, a year ago, actually almost a year ago to this date, I went to Chicago and I visited a Masonic lodge that was having a Thanksgiving potluck. Got there early, offered to help out. They put me in charge of making green beans and making deviled eggs. And I'm not going to brag or nothing, but I will brag a little bit. I made some really good green bean casserole. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm just saying my green bean casserole is really good. I got a hole in my chin. Turkey stuffing. Oh, asparagus is really good. Honey glazed carrots is also really good. Mac and cheese is also really good. But those honey glazed carrots, now you're making me jealous because honey glazed carrots are the bomb. Welcome. If you're just joining us, please jump in the chat, say hello. We're here chatting about Freemasonry. I usually do these streams Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be back on tomorrow, 1 a.m. In the meantime, please consider doing a super chat, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and letting me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry. It is why, Dad. It actually, that is the reason. It's a British colony. And so Freemasonry developed there primarily through the East India Trading Company. It was kind of economics and trade. I've said before on the stream that Freemasonry is kind of the story of stone and water in a really interesting way. Stone, for obvious reasons, or evolving from stone masons. Water, because it spread through the Navy, through the British Navy. So, kind of a really interesting juxtaposition. Two things that seem like opposites are actually, there's this old saying you can't get water from a stone. Or I guess you can't get blood from a stone. But I think Freemasonry is the story of water and stone. We got hearts. I'm guessing that means our friend, your friend and mine, Smokey the Clown, is back. Welcome back, Smokey. Good to have you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're recovering well. It's been, a month since you were in hospital? So I'm guessing you're doing a lot better. And keep my fingers crossed you are. How are your live streams treating you? How are they going? And by the way, you got your postcards, right? Just to confirm. So if I send you anything else, I know it'll get to you. Welcome. If you're just joining us, please take a moment, jump in the chat, say hello, hit that like and subscribe button. Follow me on all my socials as well. That's a great way that you can help support my efforts to promote the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it's located. And if you if you enjoy graveyards as much as I do, then I hope you enjoy this gravestone I found at St. Cuthbert's Graveyard in Edinburgh. Excuse me. Which states, erected by the Lodge of Journeyman Masons, Edinburgh number 8, in memory of John Crooks, Right Worshipful Master, 1868 and 1869, died 24th May 1671, aged 47 years, which honestly is probably not that young for the time, as much as we probably like to think of it as being. Certainly in modern standards, it'd be very young. I don't know what life expectancy was, but in 1867, 1871, but it was not what it is today. I am a Freemason. I was Freemason since 2007. Det Burke, I'm going to call you 5633. Been a Mason since 2007. And the purpose of Freemasonry is to promote the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it was located. If you have any questions about Freemasonry, please let me know. I do these streams usually Mondays through Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern and 1 a.m. I'm doing it today at 6 because I've been traveling for the week, so I did not have the chance to do my normal stream schedule. I think, well, when you say the deeper purpose, to what are you referring? The deeper purpose of Freemasonry or the deeper purpose of Square and Compass Promotions, which is my channel, right? I can tell you my purpose when I do these streams is to promote the ways Freemasonry is relevant to the communities in which it's located. The purpose of Freemasonry, quote unquote, define as you will, that, I mean, you have to decide that for yourself. Every Freemason, and for that matter, every non-Freemason, gets to define the purpose of Freemasonry based on their own life and their own experiences. Sanctuary Seeker, well, I hope I can help you. At least I can give you my perspectives on Freemasonry, as well as some historical facts. If you're looking for, again, a purpose or like if you're looking for the true meaning of Freemasonry, you're not going to find that here, nor will you find that anywhere except within yourself and your own views. I can give you my perspectives on Freemasonry, and I can give you my perspective on, I can give you the historical facts like the date the Grand Lodge was founded. But if you want to know the purpose or the meaning of it, that's a personal journey. Good. I'm glad you got them. Thank you. I almost just got done with live. Awesome. 4 new subs. That's very cool. It was. I agree, Dad. So it sounds, Burke, like you are maybe, I don't mean to use this term in properly or incorrectly, but it sounds like you are maybe more on the conspiracy side of things, the idea that Freemasonry is being a front, which is not the case, right? Freemasonry is not a charity, nor is it a front. It's a fraternal organization. It would be impossible to have a front because there is no single governing body that controls Freemasonry or Freemasons. Freemasonry is, by its nature, jurisdictional, right? The Freemasons that exist in Ontario are under a different set of rules than the Freemasons that exist in Texas, than in Edinburgh. You could argue that Detective or Deet Burke, I call you Detective Burke. I think it's from a television show. Deet Burke or Det Burke. You could argue that. There are different debates. I would say the first true Masonic lodge, I would actually date it to 1717 under the Premier Grand Lodge of England. There was Masonic organizations and bodies before then, even you see in this gravestone here, right? 1868 and 69. But those weren't really unified under any type of governance structure. In 1717, the Premier Grand Lodge of England formed in London. And I think that was kind of where I would define the first. But again, certainly there's a good argument to be made that the first lodge was in Edinburgh or in Scotland in 1634. The first 3 speculative Masons, the Alexander brothers and another whom I forget. It's definitely not a cult, Deet Burke, although I guess in theory it would depend on how you define cult, because different people could define cult in different ways. But I would not define it as a cult. I think one of the main characteristics of a cult is that it requires unquestioned loyalty to a leader or to a dogma. And within Freemasonry, it is democratic, and there is many debates amongst and about leadership and et cetera, et cetera. So, and also Freemason, a cult requires you to place the cult above anything else: family, work, friends, jobs. Within Freemasonry, we do not. We actually expect you to put your family and your work ahead of Freemasonry. So, Um, it does not have higher sects, Deet Burke. I mean, again, you can talk about Memphis Mizraim if you want, which is in Europe. But really, there is no higher degree in Freemasonry than the 13 degrees. Sorry, 13, third degree, excuse me. There is no higher degree in Masonry than the third degree, which is the Master Mason degree. Above that, you can get an 18th degree Scottish Rite, like I am. You can become a 33rd degree. If you're in Europe, you can join Memphis Mizraim, but that doesn't make you a higher level Mason. The highest level within Freemasonry is third degree. High altitude, welcome. Yes, I'm back. I was traveling. I couldn't stream while I'm traveling. So I returned. I'm back to stream once again. I'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. How are things going in Utah? Yeah, the Georgia Guidestones, people say they're Masonic. I've not seen any evidence or confirmation of that. I don't think they are personally. I think they're gone. To be honest, I think they were torn down. Well, there are many different quote unquote secret societies. As a general rule, I wouldn't call Freemasonry a secret society. I'd call it a private society, or a society with secrets, is kind of the catchphrase. Do you get a lot of snow in Utah, high altitude investing? Is that a common thing? Um, well, it's definitely not to practice higher states of consciousness, Deet Burke. Now, well, I shouldn't say that actually. Let me rephrase that, because that's not really a fair way to put it. How do I describe this? There are some Masons who may find that by taking part in Masonic ceremonies and rituals and Freemasonry, they are able to explore consciousness and their understanding of the world, and may even talk of Freemasonry in spiritual terms. It's not how I would define it. Like, I've never felt through any degrees that I was experiencing a higher level of consciousness. That was not what it's about for me. However, there are definitely some Masons who may think about it in those ways. I'm just not one of them. That goes back to the ideas that I said before. Freemasonry is a very personal journey and personal experience. Even though we have common practice, common ritual, it ultimately is understood and experienced at the individual level. And what that means is every Mason has a different purpose to join, a different purpose to remain, and a different purpose to be active. I would never, though, in my personal opinion, I would never say that it's helped me experience a higher level of consciousness. We got 4 feet. See, we just got snow yesterday, but I'm in Windsor, so I don't get near as much snow. And we did get a little bit, it looked like, of snow when I was in Scotland, Edinburgh, but just a little bit. It didn't stick on the ground. So high altitude, what is the typical winter for you? Yeah, I know what Jacob's ladder is, but you don't need to be a Mason to know what Jacob's ladder is. Jacob's ladder is a very common symbol in, I think in the Bible. Certainly, I mean, I knew of Jacob's ladder before I was a Mason, the movie, right? Famously, Jacob's ladder. Um, Dad is right. Well, even Dad, it's not quite that case. I mean, you could argue in Europe, Memphis Mizraim is a recognized Masonic body. They go up to 99 degrees. So I guess technically you could argue that if you wanted, although it's not recognized in most North American jurisdictions. Okay. If you want to expand on that high altitude, by all means. In what way would you say it's helped you experience a higher level of consciousness? And by the way, Det Burke, if you want to hit that like button and that subscribe button, I would truly appreciate it. Under an illusion of what, Det Burke? What would you describe the illusion as being of? Or of what illusion? So I don't end a sentence with a proposition or preposition, I should say. And thank you again to everybody who has joined. I'm also going to be going on my personal stream tonight before shortly, just because I want to test it. There was being some issues with the audio, and because of that, I'd like to, if I can, just do a test to see if the audio is working. The word heaven speaks towards harmony. The Prince of Masonry help me experience harmony in life. Okay, fair enough. It's a very good way to look at it, altitude investing. So that's awesome. We're just going to wait to see if Deet Burke adds the. I know it's tough sometimes explaining yourself well through through YouTube chat, but figure it out. So I think. Do you have any snow right now in Winnipeg, Dad, or how's the snow treating you there? Well, I mean, Dad Burke, what I would say to that is, I could understand that position if, let's say, I was brand new to Freemasonry or had joined but didn't show up to meetings. But I've pointed out, I've been to, we got snow here, Dad, so you're beating us. I've been to over 1,000 Masonic events, meetings, banquets. I've been to them in North America, South America, Europe, and Asia. Many times I've attended meetings without advising in advance I would be attending meetings. If they were hiding anything from me in terms of this idea of an illusion of control or societal construct, it's very hard for me to imagine I would not have noticed. I would not have seen things. Even if they managed to hide everything from me, or sorry, most things from me, I think I would still see some of it. It just strikes me as very unlikely that they would be able to hide those things from me. And that's always my response to people who say, I'm just not high enough up yet. It's like, how much must I do? How much must I see? How much must I take part in before I'm at a high enough level that I can speak confidently on these things? But even if there was a group who were picking a select few of worthy, like I would still get knowledge of them or an inkling of them based on my experiences. If you're saying, there's always possible for them to hide from me, that's one of those things where at a certain point, it's kind of an unfalsifiable claim because I can't prove a negative or disprove a negative. All I can say is within my experience and my travels and my involvement, I've not seen anything that would indicate there is a kind of a secret cabal. Yeah, I think that's a biblical phrase, right? You know a tree by its fruit. The fruit of masonry is good. Well, Det Burke and I think we're just gonna have to agree to disagree, but that shouldn't stop you from hitting the like and subscribe button. Yeah, there's a lot of good that Freemasonry has done, and that's a really good way to view it, right? The fruit of you kind of know that's a good way to kind of, I think, it doesn't always work, but I think in general, if you're struggling to know the right approach, or if you're taking the right approach, just kind of see the fruit that it bears, the results that it bears. And if you find over time it's not bearing the results you want, maybe you need to reevaluate. Or sometimes what you need to do is just keep pushing. Sometimes what I have found over time is very often you can feel like you're not succeeding in a moment or you're not bearing good fruit, only to actually be building a foundation on which some pretty good things will flourish. Which is fair. He gets to do that. This is a stream in which people get to speak out of their butts if they so choose. Um, but I do hope, if nothing else, amongst other things, what I hope is this stream. First of all, I hope Deet Burke is back again tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, because it'd be wonderful to have him return. But second, and even more important, I hope that this stream encourages people to not forget about my social media accounts. Instagram at square_and_compass_promotions, as well as Masonic buildings and Masonic building interiors, as well as Facebook at Square Compass Essex. All of this stuff at Medium as well. Because if I'm not able to stream, that shouldn't stop you and shouldn't stop me from still taking a bit, showing off, um, what I'm traveling, what I'm doing, who I'm seeing. And I still, these streams are just one way of many for me to promote the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it's located. That is such a tough question, Douglas Marks. It's a great question, but it's a really tough question as well. Oh my gosh. Like there's so many. Favorite. Like certainly in terms of lodge, I mean Windsor Masonic Temple because it's my home. It's where I was raised. It's where I was made a Mason. So obviously that has incredibly important kind of history to me, and it's the Masonic building I've spent the most time in. Um, but gosh, it's just there's so many. Glenview, Illinois. Like, well, if we were to go, we could probably just go to my Instagram account. Again, follow me on Masonic buildings. And I'll just show you this one. I mean, there's so many incredible buildings that are worth exploring. Yes, I'm glad you enjoyed it. You've got, Halt Whistle, my grandfather, a connection there. Freemasons Hall in Edinburgh, Scotland. Freemasons Hall in London, UK was incredible and absolutely beautiful. Weston Masonic Temple, a small building, but a very cool one nonetheless. Romeo Masonic Temple in Romeo, Michigan. An old opera house. Grand Lodge of Quebec. Masonic Memorial Center in Winnipeg, Manitoba. This is a special one because of the Winnipeg connection. Alma, Michigan. I loved being here. I stayed in, because this is close to the college, and I stayed in an Airbnb, which was on a college campus. It was a former sorority house. So staying there, and it was still run by the sorority. So staying there made me think of Black Xmas, one of my favorite movies. I'm glad you find it interesting, Dead Burke. I'm glad you found my stream. Masonic Temple at Junction Lodge. Ann Arbor Lodge. Johnstown Masonic Temple, which is incredible. Beautiful location. Detroit Masonic Temple, one of the great Masonic buildings. Heritage Lodge in Kingsville, Ontario, a very cool spot. Ottawa Masonic Center, a special place to me as someone who loves Ottawa. I'm just trying to think like which would be my favorite of all these. It's so hard to say because Nashville, they all have so many incredible memories. Joppa Lodge in Gladeville, Franklin Masonic Temple. Like it's so hard to pick a favorite. Vaughan, Weston once again, Tavistock. Texas Masonic Retirement Community is incredible. Well, I think let's not have anybody judge anybody else's intelligence. Everybody's smart in their different ways, right? Well, even Skull of Bones, Detberg. I'm not sure. I mean, I tend to be very hesitant to use the term Indianapolis, talk about an incredible spot, to use the term cult unless I have like confirmation. I think Skull and Bones, to my um to my knowledge, is a fraternity out of a college, right? It's out of Yale. I think the president was a member, right? George W. Bush. I don't know if I necessarily call them a cult in and of themselves, but again, I don't know enough about them to say for sure. But Douglas Marks, going back, I would have to say my favorite would be I'd say my favorite would be the Windsor Masonic Temple, in a close second, followed by Glenview. See if I can find a picture of the Glenview Masonic Temple, just so I can show it to you, at least the exterior. Um, but I've been truly lucky to visit so many incredible Masonic buildings over the years. A lot of presidents have been, a lot of maybe Skull and Bones, I don't know for sure. A lot of presidents have definitely been Freemasons. When I say a lot, actually, that's define a lot. If I recall correctly, the number is 14, but I might be getting that incorrect. I'd have to double check. That's Pennsylvania up there. That's incredible. This year is Pennsylvania. Philadelphia, actually, Philadelphia Masonic Temple. Talk about a beautiful building. Jefferson Masonic Temple, a Masonic home away from home for me for sure. Denver, Colorado. I'm trying to find a picture of Glenview, which has been my second favorite Masonic building in the world. Got some stuff here from there it is. Glenview Masonic Temple. I've been there, my gosh, dozens and dozens and dozens of times. Well, Widow's Sons is a motorcycle club that is Masonic connected, affiliated, pick your term. I got actually, I'm not wearing it now. I have a Widow's Sons sweatshirt. They do a lot of great charitable work. They're a great organization, and a very important part of Freemasonry. We're going to be ending this stream shortly. This is, again, not my usual streaming time. I will be back on tomorrow at 1 p.m. But I do want to take a few moments to jump on, since it's been about a week, just to say hello. And I hope everybody is having an excellent, excellent night. I hope you'll follow me on social media. Follow me on at Masonic Buildings 1, as well as at Square and Compass Promotions on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me everywhere you can follow me. You know a lot of hams. I'm surprised I never use that as an acronym. Hams. Well, I would say that the goals of the Widow's Sons is very different from the goals of HA. And as is Freemasonry, right? Within Freemasonry, we're taught to be good citizens. I would say the 1% motorcycle, or three, whatever the number is, 2%ers, whatever the number is. They should switch it to HAMS, Motorcycle Society, and that way they can use the acronym HAMS. Right? It's a very different thing. 1%ers. I always get the percentages mixed up. I know it came from a news report where, what was it? They said 99% of motorcycle clubs are doing good work, but 1% are, criminal in nature. And then as a result, they started to call themselves the 1%ers. So I did know about that. I kind of enjoyed Sons of Anarchy back in the day, the TV show. I was never a huge fan of it the way other people were, but I liked it. I just got into Pluribus recently. If you ever want to check out a neat TV show, check out Pluribus. All right, but I think what we're going to do is call off this stream. It's been fun. I was happy to share these. I'll be on tomorrow with my normal stream, much longer, etc., etc. Well, I definitely don't agree with that, Detberg. I think that's that's far too cynical for my point of view on that one. But we can talk more about it tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you guys soon. All right.